We have moved the trailer once since we got a flat tire back on the trailer, and we had one good travel day without any flats. We are moving today, and we hear a popping noise. Brandon added air pressure to the tires in the trailer before we left, so we got out. We could smell burnt rubber. We were trying to figure out where it was. This time, it's the truck. So the trailer is good right now, but this passenger side truck tire is smoking, and now we're figuring out what we're going to do. So, like I said, we've had one good travel day between tire issues, and now this. These highways in Arizona, New Mexico are rough. Okay, just in case anyone thinks Brandon does all the work, I'm out here tightening lug nuts. He's still gonna check them and make sure I did them correctly, but also we think our hubcap melted in the fire, so we're gonna have to figure that out when we replace our spare also. Located only about 30 minutes away from the famous Carlsbad Caverns National Park is Gaudalupe Mountains National Park. We had never heard of this national park before, but just over the state line, it has 8 of Texas's 10 highest mountains, and it was definitely worth a stop.
Oh, Zia, what are you doing? Oh, that'll be great footage for the YouTube video.
We took a hike from the Frijole Ranch trailhead. It was a fun time for all of us. Well, almost. Make sure not to miss the sunset while you're here, as the sun will set right over those beautiful mountain peaks.
When you think of San Antonio, Texas, you might think of famous sites like the Alamo Mission or the Riverwalk. But we discovered, after spending a week in this town, that it is so much more than those things. Where are we?
We are at the Japanese tea gardens in San Antonio.
You forgot where we
We
were.
moved too much. I don't know where we are, ever.
Travel probs. So, do you know anything about it yet?
Not really. It's a garden, and I heard Japanese tea gardens, and I got all excited thinking like, oh, they're going to have tea. And then my aunt was like, I think it's just like a pretty park. But then we get here, and they did have tea. So I'm really excited and enjoying my chai latte.
As Brielle referenced, we had been traveling quite a bit by the time we got to San Antonio. It was nice to take a little extra time in this city and be joined by my family. Something that's a little bit more challenging when you travel all the time is that you don't see family very often. To have them come join us over my niece's spring break was well worth the visit and a welcome surprise. The Japanese Tea Garden was one of my favorite spots in San Antonio. It is a free botanical garden that's open from dawn to dusk daily and accessible to everyone. You won't want to miss this area near San Antonio's historical downtown. Woo! There's the party people.
I'm sorry, I'm having
Party people. At Natural Bridge Caverns, you can explore 2 different caves on 5 different tours. We chose to do the Hidden Wonders tour, which showed state-of-the-art lighting and sound down in the cave, and we got to ride the BAT, the Belt-Assisted Transport Conveyor System, out of the cave, which was super fun. I'm riding the people mover out of the cave. This was a fun little cave tour. I was not expecting it to be quite so cool after doing Carlsbad 2 or 3 weeks ago. But Carlsbad doesn't have one of these. There he goes. Now remember, no horseplay, Nana. Behave yourself.
They will be happy.
Oh yeah, it was a little rough day. Also at Natural Bridge Caverns, we couldn't skip the opportunity to participate in one of the world's largest zip rail and ropes courses. Standing over 6 stories tall, the kids had a blast going across all the different high wires, challenges, and riding the zip lines all the way around. Next up, we headed to the Natural Bridge Wildlife Ranch. You can drive your car through this drive-through zoo, or you can experience the ultimate safari adventure tour, which is what we elected to do since we were in a large group. On that safari tour, we had a guide who was hilarious and knowledgeable, so we had a blast learning more about the animals, and he kept us laughing the entire time. They walk right up to your safari cart, and we got to feed them the whole time too. The food was included in our tour, and we learned a lot.
We are at Mission San Jose in San Antonio. We're at the National Historical Park. There are, I want to say, 6 missions that we're going to go look at today. And I'm really excited because my family is in town. I knew my sister and her family were coming for spring break, and they surprised me by bringing my parents along too. So we are all going to go look at the missions today. Brandon is unfortunately not available today, but we're going to look at the missions. He will join us later in the week for the Alamo and some other cool San Antonio things. Thank you, good children. You're welcome, Mother.
No good deed goes unpunished. Yeah. Good work, guys. Where are we at today?
We are at the Alamo. We watched the movie last night, and now we are here. We just walked out of the Alamo Church itself, and now we're going on to see more parts of the complex and the museum that's set up out here.
You can tour the Alamo Church and walk around the grounds for free. But being the history buffs we are, we elected to do one of the paid tours. We did the Line in the Sand self-guided experience. You'll notice in the footage you can see us listening to little audio devices, which provided us a very thorough tour of all the buildings and all the history of the events that happened at the Alamo, not just the famous battle from the 1820s.
Turns out Phil Collins has been fascinated by the Alamo since he was 5 years old, and so he amassed this huge personal collection that he donated back to the state of Texas to return these items to the Alamo. So we're looking at some of the things that were here. It's really, really cool to see all of that, and he turned his passion for history into this really neat area that people can come and visit now.
The Phil Collins collection is a separate admission price. However, it is included in the Line in the Sand tour that we took. I highly, highly recommend that you pay extra to see these things if you're into history at all, as it really does include so much more than just the Alamo itself. We had so much fun on the Riverwalk, eating, drinking, and absorbing all of the sights and sounds. I thought the riverboat was going to be a little lame, but it ended up being really cool. We learned a lot about the history of the Riverwalk area, so if you have the chance to ride the boats, I do recommend that as well. Thank you for joining us on our San Antonio adventures. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.